Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Extra Point Podcast. I am Andrew Goldberg, and as always, I am joined by Zachary Benau and Adam Levine. We are all digital content programmers for Fox Sports as we each cover our respective NFL divisions. I cover the AFC East, Zach covers the NFC West, and Adam covers the NFC North. But right now, we will look exclusively at the Dallas Cowboys in the offseason news dominating their team, as Dez Bryant is set to be a free agent this year, possibly going to get the franchise tag. A little unhappy about it, but as that's happened, apparently a lot of news reports have been coming out from Pro Football Talk, also ESPN's Adam Schefter talking about a possible video that could have Ray Rice type of implications due to a incident occurring in 2011. Now, I do have to be clear that there is no substantial evidence in terms of is there a video, isn't there a video, we don't know. This is all kind of like Deflategate, where there's no concrete evidence, just a lot of rumors going on, especially over the last couple days. Apparently an incident involving Walmart. But the bigger picture is, was this video released, guys, Adam and Zach? Was it released? Or, I mean, I shouldn't say released. Is this rumored video meant to hurt Dez's upcoming contract? I mean, is it going to help bring DeMarco Murray back? Because they are having to make a decision on whether to sign one of them to a big-term deal.
Hurting Dez Bryant right now. Whether this video ever comes out, everyone says that no one has actually seen it, but whoever signs Dez Bryant, whether it's the Cowboys franchise tagging him or someone's trying to sign him to a long-term huge money deal, if this video doesn't come out this year, it's always going to be hanging over their head potentially that someone has the video and someone could release it anytime. And as we know, TMZ, if they get their hands on it or somebody like that, they like to release it at very specific times. It's not like they have a strategy behind this whole thing. They'll release it when NFL is most popular. Maybe not in July, but maybe right when preseason is starting in August, or maybe right before the first regular season game. So it's a risky proposition. So I do think it's hurting. It definitely is going to hurt his salary going forward, because whoever signs him, they're going to have to deal with this potentially lingering over their head.
Yeah, Zach, I agree with you. It is hurting him, and Dez Bryant already has issues, behavioral issues. He's already had some off the field issues in his time. He had that infamous conversation with Jeff Ireland, who asked him if his mother was a prostitute, and he's talked about his childhood, which includes a mother and a father of shady professions, and he didn't come from the best upbringing, and I mean he already is a ticking time bomb, and he's already a guy that Dallas is debating, despite his talents, debating keeping, because what's money and what's job security going to mean? Is it going to mean he's going to just go off the deep end? And this hanging above his head is an interesting thing. It probably has a lot to do with former friends he was with trying to blackmail him. That occurs all the time in sports. It's just, I guess, just the nature of the game, the nature of humanity, whatever you call it. But yeah, I mean, it is hurting him. I mean, look, the Cowboys are talking about franchising him for the very reason of they want to see what he does with a lot of money, and if they franchise him, they don't lock him into a year, and then if he becomes this time bomb that they have to get away from, they can drop him because he's active without having to have invested too many time and years. But yeah, it's hurting him, and it's unfortunate because Dez is a talented guy, but it also speaks to his hot-headedness as well. But I'm curious, like, Andrew, who do you think is a more re-sign? Do you think it's Dez or do you think it's DeMarco? Because I have my opinion, which I can give, after you guys, but I'm curious to know who you think is more important.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we're excluding the video and the possibility of it, whatever, if there is a video ever being released and hurting Dez Bryant, and we're assuming that both guys will play next year 100%, barring injury, of course, I would say you give the money to Dez Bryant and, like, the long-term contract, and you see what DeMarco Murray does, because I don't think that Dez Bryant can be replaced as easily as a running back in the NFL. We've seen that because over the past, I don't know, last decade or so, how many Super Bowl teams have won with a superior running back? I think there's only maybe one or two. Marshawn Lynch of the Seahawks being the most recent example. In terms of wideouts, you need someone that your quarterback can trust on the outside to throw the ball to and make plays on the outside. And really shift coverage for a defense and make it obvious as to where to go. And also, the Cowboys, if they have such a great offensive line, they should be able to run the ball no matter who's in the backfield, and therefore that makes DeMarco Murray replaceable. And then one last thing with DeMarco Murray is that he's coming off a year with the career high in carries. It's his first season in which he's played every single game, and it's a huge, huge workload in the amount of touches in terms of carries as well as receptions he got. So how is he going to play the next year? I think we've seen examples every single year of a running back putting up a 300, 350 plus carry season, and then the next year they play much, much worse, barely getting 1,000 yards and looking like a shell of their former selves. I don't know that's what I think. I don't know what you think, Zach.
I mean, I completely agree with you. You know, obviously taking the tape and all that stuff out of the discussion, but giving big money to a running back, as we see in the NFL, is just risky because their span is so short. And just to go even further on what you said, last year was the first year DeMarco Murray has played in the NFL and has not got injured. And you still saw him break down towards the end of last year. And you can see in the playoffs he wasn't his same self that he was in the first few games of, the regular season. So going forward, I have to give, if everything's equal and without the tape and everything, I have to give the money to Dez Bryant. He's so big for Romo, too. A safety blanket for him. He makes just incredible catches, can bail Romo out of bad throws. So going forward, I just think he's more important to that team. And like you said, the offensive line is strong in Dallas, so they could bring in a running back. They could draft a rookie running back. They could go with, a platoon system where they could still get, the big games out of the rushers without, giving Murray an enormous contract, which could come back to haunt them, in a year or two.
I agree with both you guys and figured that you guys would hit on the same point that I do, that all things being equal, it's much more important to go with an outside perimeter player because running backs are replaceable, the offensive line, all the points you guys made, with adding in this caveat that even all things being equal, I still think you shouldn't give Dez the house because I think that outside of quarterback, every position is replaceable, and I wouldn't want to give Dez, record-breaking money because we've seen what can happen with positional players that aren't QBs, getting that kind of money and what it can do to your cap. But, I figured we'd all agree on that point. But the Cowboys have an interesting offseason going forward, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one quick thing before I guess we wrap it up, but just like I don't think we need the Cowboys need to give him record-breaking money. I think that's extreme. He shouldn't be paid more than Calvin Johnson. But,
right.
If they give him a deal like, I don't know, 4-year, $50 million with 20, 30 guaranteed, I mean, is that the end of the world?
No, that's not the end of the world. But as I've said and as Zach alluded to and Andrew is, I'm sure a guy like you probably knows, in the back of their mind, you're right. His talent deserves what you said. You don't give him record-breaking money. But do you in the back of your mind, do you worry about what money and a contract does for a guy like Dez who's proven to be behaviorally a bit unstable?
Yeah, I guess especially with a possible, maybe, probably not, who really knows video of him, right, of Ray Rice type of implications. So I guess that's it on the Cowboys for us, unless you guys got anything else to add.
Nope, good.
All right, so that's it for us. I am Andrew Goldberg, along with Zach Benau and Adam Levine. Stay tuned for more recordings on each NFL division.